G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. I'm the least prepared Steelers YouTuber on YouTube and the most biased. So today, guys, we are talking about the AFC North rundown. That is week 5. Just finished work, so I haven't looked over too much stuff. Going to go over the scores from last week, look at the standings, and then also look at the teams coming up for this week. Now, I do know... Man, it's been a crazy time. This might be one of the craziest times, I think, for the Fire crowd, the Fire Everyone crowd. And I understand Steeler Nation out there. I respect and understand where you're coming from. But to me, it's still very early days, and it's like week 4, week 5, right? If the Steelers win this game, they beat the Ravens, then they come first. At the same time, though, I do understand that if the Steelers... if they win by 3 or 4 points, 5 points, beat the Ravens, sneak away with a win, and we don't play well at all on the offense, I still understand that they have a lot of problems. So I kind of get where some people are coming from in terms of getting rid of Canada. I'm not a big fan of Canada, so I don't really care if he stays or goes. I think he's gone by the end of the year. But I'm not switching on the Tomlin thing, but I can understand where people are coming from. That's why I don't really talk about it anymore, because you have the pro, the con, and it never stops. Just never stops. And also, there's nothing behind it. Or it is fire Tomlin. Well, we can't change that. Anyways, let's get into this week's AFC North rundown, and that's been pretty much the news cycle with the press conferences with the coaches. A lot of pressure on all these guys because the team is not playing well, but we're still winning some games. They've lost one at the start. They won 2, then they lost another. So we're 2-2, and we're 1-0 the division. So last week, we all know that the Texans, they beat us 30-6, right? We got absolutely done. 30-6, CJ Stroud went off. The running game, we couldn't stop. Nico Collins, we couldn't stop him either. We couldn't get the offensive moving, and all we got was 2 field goals. Probably one of the worst games in a long time for Pittsburgh Steeler fans to endure. Really hard me watching the game at 5 a.m. But at the same time as well, Houston played really well, good football. They ran the ball, play action pass, good defense. They were getting to Kenny. Kenny got hurt. Now, we don't know the status of Kenny right now. I think he's limited as we go into the week. Pat Frymouth, he's been has an injury, so we could see Rodney Williams come up from the practice squad. That might happen, but he's out 3 or 4 weeks. Now, Deontay, I think he's still got a week or 2 to come back. So the Steelers have a lot of injuries, like Frymouth. They've had, I think Dan Moore went out and Broderick Jones came in for a left tackle. There could be a spot there. A lot of moving pieces on this team, and we might see Trubisky start versus the Ravens. It could be a possibility, right? So the Steelers lost 30-6, but some good news for the division. It's a very long season, guys. It really is. And I've got a bit of a special video later on today. I'm going to talk about just a different mindset or different viewpoint of sometimes how I watch the team and how I view the Steelers. And I don't get too analytical. I just go off by pure passion and just cheering my team on. But that's going to be a separate video later on today. So we also had Baltimore beat down the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore 28 to Cleveland 3. Lamar Jackson had 186 passing, and they also had Mark Andrews at 80 yards, a receiving leader. I think they played DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson, or whatever his name is, DTR for Cleveland. I don't know why Watson was out, but he might have had an injury, so Watson didn't play. They played DTR. I think he got 3 picks. So Baltimore smashed Cleveland, absolutely smashed him. Now, another drubbing, another smashing too, was Cincinnati. They're in a bit of trouble. So Cincinnati lost to Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill got 240 yards. Derrick Henry had a big day, 122. And Josh Burrow, whoever his name is, he doesn't look good. He still looks very injured. And Cincinnati lost that game 27-3. So yes, we got smashed, but half the AFC North did as well. Cleveland had one of their worst games. Cincinnati had one of their worst games in a long time. So their fans must just be as upset, saying, fire this guy, fire that guy. Overreaction as anyone else is. Let's go to the standings now, if I can bring them up real quick. So in our standings, and if I'm smart enough, I'll try and put them up here in just a moment. So let's go to the standings. AFC North, right? So right here. The Ravens are leading 3-1. They're home 1-1, 2 away, 2 division. That's pretty good. They've won 2 division games already, so it's a pretty big matchup. If they beat the Steelers, that's going to be 3 games in a row or 3 divisional games. Points for is 99.58 plus 41, 1 win streak. But the Steelers do have their number. The Steelers do have their number from the last 6 times they've versed was 5. They've won 5. The only loss they've had was when Trubisky threw 3 interceptions. Now, Steelers are 2-2, second in the division. That's why I keep saying it's really early days, but I understand the frustration, the anger, the dislike that is happening right now because nothing's clicking and the Steelers offense is ranked like 28th, 29th, 30, 31st. Doesn't matter what you say. It's ranked like last in a lot of categories. I don't even want to go into it. You know how bad they are. You know how we all want to fight Canada. Let's not go into it. Everyone's talking about that. Steelers are 2-2. Home 1, lost 1. 1 away, 1 divisional, 2-1 conference. Now, points for is 62. Now, that's only second worst in the division. Points against is 100. That's the worst, right? So they've laid down 230 burgers and 100. The defense has got to step up. You can keep saying, well, they run the field way too much. But then in that Houston Texans game, with the very first drive, they ran down all the way down the field to get 7 points. Now, the Minka flag, that wasn't a flag, so that didn't help us, the momentum. But the defense got to stop it. 100 points already. What's that? 25 points a game average. That's pretty high. Differential minus 38. Now, Cleveland Browns are 2-2, 2-1 at home, 0-1 away, 1-2 division, 2-2 conference, 76 points for, and points against 60 plus 16. Now, the worst team is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 1-3, 1-1 at home, 0-2 away, 0-3 conference, which is really bad, by the way. Really bad, because if they don't catch up, then they might be struggling to make the wild card. Now, I'm not saying they're out of it, but they could be struggling to make the wild card. Now, points for is 49. So you think we have a bad with 62. Points for is 49. They might be one of the worst in the league, actually. So they're 94 against, and points for 9 is 49. Let me double check. No, one of the worst is Giants. They're 46. And so they're second worst in the league. The second worst in the league is 49. We're around the third or fourth, fifth league, right? They're the standings right there. 3-1, 2-2, 2-2, and 1-3 from the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's move into we're going to do week 5? Fire out, man. It's been crazy. I've been really busy lately, so it's been crazy as. Now, first of all, here, if I put it up there, if I don't, we have the Browns have a bye. Out. They're gone. They have a bye. They can't win one and they can't lose one, right? They have a bye. So let's go into the other game. We have 2 games now. We have the Steelers versus the Ravens in an AFC North matchup. And we also have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Arizona Cardinals. So let's start with the Arizona Cardinals first, right? Arizona, they're kind of a sneaky team as well. They've won a few games. They beat the Cowboys. They got the other guys out there. Joshua Dobbs, I think James Conner is also running around town, and he's the running back there, right? So what are they in the division? In their division, they're 1-3. So they've won 1 game. When I say sneaky, like that's pretty big win to go and beat the Cowboys. Now, everybody should be picking the Bengals, but I actually don't know in this game. Honest to goodness, I don't know. You have Dobbs there. If I go to some of their stats, you have Joshua Dobbs, he's got 814 yards. James Conner, 318. Marquise Brown used to play for the Ravens, 239. Right? So, and Dobbs hasn't thrown an interception. There you go. So Dobbs is 4 TDs, 0 interceptions, and sacked 6 times. So he's doing it just enough to be in the game. And of course, he beat the Cowboys. And James Conner is running 5.1 yards average. And Joshua Dobbs, too, has got 141 yards. So maybe a lot of Steelers fans are saying, well, we probably shouldn't let go of Dobbs. And here we have Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. I always liked Dobbs, so I wish him the best. I even liked him in Tennessee, so I wish him the best. And you know what would be good? If the Arizona Cardinals do knock off the Bengals this week, I am going to choose the Bengals for this victory, but it would be awesome to see if they knock them off and send the Bengals fans even more crazier than what they are, going to 1-4. Now, I'm not going to go that way, so let's do my score prediction. I'm going to do the Bengals. They got to bounce back sometime to get some form of rib. You'd think so. With the team that they've got with Josh Burrow, all the receivers there, Chase, you know what I'm saying, Mixon, you'd think they'd start to bounce back and their defense would start to fire up. But you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say in this game, they win Josh Burrow and the Bengals. By the way, I told you I'm really biased. The Bengals win. Let's go 27. Bengals 27, 20, 25. We'll do a really weird score. Bengals 27, 25. They win that game. Now let's go to our game, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers right here. So Steelers versus Ravens. This is quite. Look, if the Ravens win this game, they have a really big chance to really have full control of the AFC North. They can start to chip away and run away with the division. If the Steelers win this game, it's back to first place, right? Now, Lamar Jackson, he's finally should be playing in this game, which is quite rare. I think every time the Steelers play the Ravens, it's either he's off one or he's on one. So we play him like once a year. We rarely ever see Lamar Jackson being played twice a year. Now, this team is different, though. The Ravens team is stronger. They're more physical. Like, they're going to run after Kenny Pickett. If we can't protect Kenny Pickett, if we can't protect, well, if he does go, because he might play, if we can't protect Kenny Pickett or Trubisky in this game, the game's done. Like, if we can't have any form of an O-line that puts their hands up, puts their hands in the dirt, and, muddles forward and goes hat not hat, and line protection or anything like that to give the quarterback time, if it is Kenny Pickett or if it is Trubisky, dude, it's done. Honest to goodness, it's like the Ravens will feast on us. They will run up and sack the quarterback, and all the pressure on us, and even being at home, it won't be one of those, old school Steelers versus Ravens 23, 20, or 26-23 like that, or the game I saw on Christmas Day. It won't be anything like that. It would just be the Ravens feasting on the quarterback, and if Broderick Jones is playing, or if it's Dan Moore, or if they're going to the center and Mason Cole and they're getting beat on the line, and Isaac Seumalo, they're not pushing. Like, they just haven't been. We just haven't seen any aggression there. But Mike Tomlin did talk about, some changes, and hopefully they're going to become more physical, and they're going to be wearing more pads, and maybe Nick Herbig and those guys can start to muscle up and take advantage of the defensive line, because that's where it is. The game is won in the trenches. It is offense versus defense, and if we can't stop any pass rush, if they rush 3 or 4 and blitz a few guys, that might be a cornerback or a safety or whoever might come down the box, because the Ravens are on fire, we're done, right? So in this game, actually, I think there's a lot of pressure on Trubisky if he does play, even Kenny Pickett. The Steelers have to establish the run no matter what. Now, we played better with Najee Harris, but we also got to push the ball forward too with our offensive line. I'm actually going to choose the Ravens, though, this week. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I don't want to. I'm a massive fan. I'm biased as ever. But Steelers have to get it together. And this one, I think we're going to see. We'll go Baltimore 30. Baltimore 29. Steelers 17. 29-17, something like that. Anyways, guys, that's kind of it for today. But if the Steelers do win, this matchup, we'll take sole first place. So it'll be 3-2. And also the Ravens will be 3-2 as well, but we'll have the division lead over them. So we'll have 2 division things, 2 divisional matchups, plus the Browns will have the bye, right? So everything will go more in our favor. And if the Bengals lose 1-4, then they're right down the bottom. It's not over till it's over. But guys, later on today, I'll talk to you guys about just a different point of view on how I see my Steelers and how I kind of wish things were a little bit different in viewing this team sometimes. And we'll talk about social media, how it was back in the day with no social media, when you went to a bar, when I was a kid watching in my room. That's the kind of theme it's going to be. I just want to go over a few things. It's going to be a bit of a rant, a bit of a fun video. Anyways, that's it though. The AFC North rundown. Steelers are 2-2. If they win this week, they have control of the AFC North early on, being week 5. They always have a bye. If the Ravens win, then we have a bye. They're also in control too. They'll be 4-1. So it's crazy, man. All right, guys. I'll see you later.